Hello all. Today I wanted to share another important scenario-based functional testing interview question. So the question is like if I have given you 40 test cases to execute, which test case you will start first, and on what basis you will execute the test cases. So we can explain the question like below. Like if the test cases have a predefined priority or order to execute, we can proceed with that, or else we can depends on our understanding from the requirements document, we can prioritize the test cases and we can start executing. So how we can prioritize the test cases means by keeping the below concepts. So we have to go through the requirements document and should understand what is the scope and what module needs to be tested, so that we can come to know what are all the test cases that are covering the scope. So if we have 40 test cases, then the main coverage will be covering at least in 20 test cases. So we can pick those particular number of test cases and execute first. So if any of the defects are occurred in the main areas of the coverage, we can easily identify, and we can initially itself we can identify and we can raise the defect. And also we have to prioritize the test cases depends on the scope. In the test cases sheet itself, we can add another column and mention the priority as like P1, P2, P3 or 1, 2, 3. So it's like as per our wish we can prioritize it and we can execute, so that we can execute the P1 test cases from the whole test cases. And also we have to keep the this thing as well, like test data also should be available before we are starting with the execution. So if we have any of the doubts in test data, if the test data is not available, if we have any of the clarifications needed from the test data, so we can keep those test cases for the beside, and initial test cases, what are all the available test data, and if we have any of the important scenarios, then we have to prepare the test data for those scenarios first, and then we can proceed with that. And also test steps. So for executing any of the test case, we have to aware of the application flow, right? So we have to make sure that the test cases are understood by us very correctly and accurately. If we have any of the doubts in application flow or test steps, we can discuss with the colleagues or any of the seniors and we can start the execution. So by keeping these points in mind, we can start the execution if the bulk number of test cases are given to us. So hope this would be helpful. Thank you.